welcome to another edition of Social Security and You, your information and education program from the St. Christopher and the Nevis Social Security Board. Tonight I want to explore with you the business sector in St. Kitts and Nevis. Why are we considering the business sector in Nevis? Well, first of all, I want to focus on the small business sector. And the small business sector, by Caribbean Development Bank definition, in part are those businesses that employ 5 or less persons, which they refer to as micro businesses, and small businesses would be those which employ between 6 and 25 persons. There's a wider definition, but for the purposes of this discussion, that is the definition I will use. Oftentimes we hear them referred to as the engines of growth for the economies, and certainly for economies that are as small as ours, they play a very important part. This is the way in which our people celebrate their entrepreneurship. Somebody has a bright idea, they open up shop, they do business. Of course, there are registration issues with the Inland Revenue and their registration issues with Social Security. But suffice it to say, this is the way in which their entrepreneurship is celebrated. And of course, they're fairly easy to establish. One of the things we track at Social Security is the movement of the businesses up and down, the starts, the closures, the restarts. And I'm sharing with you for 2007 to 2011, which of course is the last period for which fully audited data is available, 2011. And we see business starts were from 236 in 2007, to 75 in 2008, to 42 in 2009, to 14 in 2010, and 196 in 2011. The restarts are shown 39, 53, 59, 74, and 62. And those that found it too difficult to continue, or the project had been completed, 42, 89, 177, 249, and 161. Towards the end of that decade, the going really got tough. But these movements gave us net businesses of 233 in 2007, 239, 124, 39, and 97. The business sector moves up and down. Let's take a look now at how the snapshot of the St. Kitts business sector, and I'm going to talk a little bit about St. Kitts and a little bit about Nevis. Those businesses that were less than 5, the percentage of all of them in December 31st, 2011, I chose that month because it was the last month of the year, as I said, for which audited data was available. 63% of all the businesses in St. Kitts, 63%, were micro businesses, that is less than 5 or 5 or less persons were employed. Those that employed 6 to 25, 25%. Those that employed 26 to 50, medium-sized businesses, according to the CDB definition, 7.2. And those that employed more than 51, 4.4. They employed 7.9% of the business of the employees, 16.1, 13.2, and 62.8%. Naturally, the smaller businesses would employ less of the population. The total weeks of work that they provided is shown in the other column. Those that are micro, 7.5% of the total weeks worked. 15.1, 13.3, and again 64.1. The larger businesses tend to be steadier in their employment and in the work they provide. And the percentage of the payday they provided, 5.4%, 14%, 12.8%, and 67.8%. That is a snapshot of St. Kitts business sector as of the 31st of December 2011. And I have every reason to believe and anticipate that that is a fairly accurate picture of the St. Kitts business sector at any point in time. A snapshot of the Nevis business sector as of the same date shows 76% were micro, 19% were small, 2% were medium, and 3% was large. The percentage of the total employees, 13, 16, 6, and 65. The percentage of the total weeks worked, total jobs provided, 14, 17, 6, and 63. And the percentage of the payday, wages paid, 7, 16, 7, and 70. The small business sector in Nevis and the small business sector in St. Kitts look like this. There are much similarities, or many similarities, but there are sufficient differences for there to be different types of business sectors. And here on your screen is a pictorial representation of that situation. What does that say to us, really? And this is an observation I want to make. It might sound trite, it might sound trivial, but it is a fairly significant observation. In St. Kitts, 88% of the businesses are small and micro. They employ 24% of the workers, generate 23% of all the work, and pays 19% of the wages. In Nevis, 95% of the businesses are small and micro, employs 29% of all workers, generates 33% of the work, and pays 23% of the wages. Those persons at college who are doing business as their major may well be interested in those statements, and indeed in doing internal assessments, SBAs, theses on issues such as these. What were the most popular small business areas in St. Kitts? Again, 31/12/2011. There was a wholesale, retail, and etc. sector, construction, the hospitality sector, real estate, a sector referred to as other, and then there was the manufacturing sector, the top 6. And on your screen, you will see what percentages those were of the total businesses, and the total is shown at the bottom. The percentage of workers they employed, the percentage of weeks worked, and the percentage of wages paid. And we will leave that on your screen for a little while for it to sink in. The micro business areas on St. Kitts, again, are projected on your screen, and there you can see how they pan out. I won't go into details on that one, but again, we'll leave it for just a moment for you to absorb it. Nevis's small business areas were slightly different. They were construction as the number 1, the wholesale retail services sector, the hospitality sector, manufacturing, in Nevis, manufacturing, real estate sales and so on, and the transportation industry. And again, we will show that they were ranked according to the percentage of the businesses: 20 for construction, 16.7 for the wholesale retail sector, 13.3 for the hospitality sector, 12.2% for the manufacturing sector, 6.7 for real estate, and 6.7 for transportation. For the micro business sector, again, those are businesses that employ 5 or less persons. This is how the ranking was. Home domestics were the number 1 area. The wholesale and retail sector, persons who were doing businesses on their own. Real estate persons. Construction, the hospitality industry, and that section referred to other as other in the chart that is provided by the International Labour Organization. Again, take a look at the data as it is presented. And again, that data leads me to this summary, that micro and small businesses in St. Kitts, the top 6 sectors accounted for 76% of all the businesses. They employed 55% of the workers, provided 73% of the work, and paid 72% of the wages. In the microbusiness sector in St. Kitts, the top 6 sectors accounted for 75% of the businesses, employed 70% of the workers, provided 71% of the work, and paid 70% of the wages. On Nevis, the small business areas, the top 6 sectors accounted for 76% of the businesses, employed 77% of the workers, provided 76% of the work, and paid 75% of the wages. In the microbusiness sector, in Nevis, the top 6 sectors accounted for 77% of all businesses, employed 74% of the workers, provided 75% of the work, and paid 73% of the wages in those sectors. Do you wonder, therefore, why it is that this sector gets so much attention from the powers that be? Ladies and gentlemen, I have provided some information. For some, it might not be so important. For others, we hope that you would find significance in the data and be intrigued enough to study the business further. I want to say to you that if we could find out so much about businesses in St. Kitts and Nevis by looking in our data, it means, therefore, that you, the workers, the employers, should cease to collude and cease to hide, because that information should tell you that wherever you are, we will find you. We will know where you are. We will come and get you. And so, therefore, to prevent that, we want to encourage you to continue to pay your contributions in full and on time, so that we at Social Security can continue to look up for your benefits.